Hey guys, it's TFNut. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing something a little bit in review, and this is going to be of the Good Smile Company Pop-Up Parade L version of Special Grade Vengeful Cursed Spirit Rika Orimoto from Jujutsu Kaisen 0. If you are at all familiar with Pop-Up Parade, it is a sub-line of statues from Good Smile Company where they're a little bit smaller and they're a little bit more affordable. I don't own any of them besides this one here myself. I've seen them in person from friends who own some, and for the 40 to 50 bucks you're paying for these 7 to 8 inch statues, they're actually really nice quality for what you have. They have made a lot of stuff with this line. It's very successful just because of how affordable and easy to display they are, since they are a bit of a smaller scale. Figures for a little bit, and this one was going to be definitely my first statue purchase. Not that I have anything against statues, I am just much more of an articulated action figure kind of collector. This here looked like it would fit in great scale with my SH Figuarts Yuto Okkotsu though. I might do the same thing with the Figma one when it comes out sometime next year, even though that's going to come with like a display piece of Rika. That's just a printout of that. I think a lot of people are going to want to mix and match either the Figma or the SH Figuarts with this statue. So you've been seeing this box for a while. This is probably one of the biggest action figure boxes I've owned. I mean, it is a pretty large scale statue, of course. I've been showing off all the different sides while rambling for a little bit, just to show you that all 4 sides were just each like actual side. And this one here that you've been looking at for a little bit is the top of the box where it just says Pop-Up Parade in L. The bottom of the box is just white. So there's also a barcode there, but you're really not going to find this in stores, so I'm not going to really bother with that. If this jitters on my 360 base a little bit and shakes, I do apologize. It's the little engine that could right now. This is a bit of a heavier piece. Not super duper heavy for a lot of people, but heavy enough for this little base. I'm going to take this off in a little bit. But this thing is spectacular. It is a really beautifully crafted piece. Even though, you know, the articulation junkie in me really likes articulation, this is going to work great with my SH Figuarts Jujutsu Kaisen figures. So what I want to do is a little bit different. I'm going to show you how to assemble the figure, and then we'll set up. It's a little janky, so it's going to be kind of weird to look at. I mean, that light is being listed on a Halo Funko Pop box, so that's kind of funny. First thing I want to talk about is this armrest piece, this clear plastic. Let's back out a little bit for you guys. This might be a little out of focus, but essentially, when this is going to go on the base, this wider part here, if you see there, it will rest like this. So, putting this up right now, we take our circular base, and this is how this looks without the figure on there. The inside here has plastic printing of where this was made in China, 2021. You see there, all these different pieces. This is a hollow piece, as you see here. All these pieces sticking out. These are for the different pegs that are on the actual statue. And this peg, that peg hole, is for the armrest. So we put that down. Hopefully I've placed the armrest correctly. I'm pretty sure. The holes are actually a hexagonal shape. So that way things don't move around too much when you're posing it. You can still move it around a little bit freely. Just pop it in like so. And the armrest is going to be rather important. I think this figure can go a little bit, a little while without the armrest, but I can see how this may eventually like droop down and bring this down with it. So this armrest is going to be rather important. And just looking at it, you might want to push things in just a little bit to secure things a little, and you hear the pop that I just had a second ago. And that's how it looks on the base, and everything is nice and secure. Now, with how large this figure is, I have to freehand a ton of stuff here. But I just want to show you what all, in terms of the sculpting, is going on here. This is incredible. It looks fantastic. You can see a lot of different line work. The paint, it's really clean paint. It looks a little rough in the paint, but I think they were going for how Rika is very kind of unhinged, very unhinged looking. I think the paint in some areas looking kind of heavy is meant to kind of complement that. Lots of great stuff with like how these muscles are supposed to be done, whatever these back like tendril pieces are. We'll talk about that in a second. We'll look at the head first in the close view. The teeth And the gums are all really nicely done. The paint on there is really clean. The tongue has really nice glossy purple paint. The sculpting in the tongue is really cool. You also see, you know, like creasing in the chin right there. The way that they've structured the jaw. I guess that would be like the jowls or whatever. That looks rather nice too. I'm going to have to probably do a lot of auto-focusing. That is just a beautifully sculpted piece. I don't remember if the box said who the sculptor is. I think Good Smile's US website and their Japanese website will list the sculptor on there, or sculptors. You can see how the rib cage is done with like all this sticking out there. Again, lots of nice gray paint, a little bit of like a gray shadow or gray wash, I would say, going in there. Really nicely done. This is a really large piece. We'll measure it in a little bit. But I want to talk about, if you can focus and not on the wall, there we go. The right side first with the arm, the way that the elbow is looking, you know, sticking out with the elbow, really sick, I should say. I'm having trouble speaking because how much I think this looks good. The bicep looked really cool too. And then you look at these claws. The light is kind of blocking some things. Those fingernails and the thumbnail, that is really cool. They are pointy, and they could be a little fragile, so be careful with that. Let's focus back up here. The detailing in the palm, that is really sick. You get a little bit detailing on the inside of the fingers here too. That's what the left hand looks like. You can see how those claws come around. All the detailing on that arm. The way the wet musculature is there. That is really cool. Man, this is so well done. So let's go towards the back. You can't see it too well because all those like tendril looking pieces are covering the back and the shoulder blades and all that. You can kind of see it through the tendril pieces. But there is a really good amount of consistent paint going in here too. Again, all this blocking it here. But we have really great consistent gray paint going on here with a little bit of black. More like really dark gray going on. And these are a little bit of a softer plastic, but by no means are they like pliable or anything. They're just a slightly different plastic than like the harder plastic that's going on here. Or it's all the same type of plastic and there's just so much of it that's like really thick here, and this is a little bit thinner that it's kind of movable. You see the separation of the plastic here where they have glued and ported all of that in. Looking on the back again, you have all of that paint detail going until, you know, we're still really good like not really wrinkle sculpting, but just like this type of sculpting going on here. But then the paint just kind of starts cutting off into the very dark gray there, which I believe is accurate. We get down here. I think there's also separated plastic around where my index finger is. It's a little bit hard to see. Or it could be how it's supposed to look. It just looks, it's not that it's bad, I just, if you look at it, it does look like separated plastic, which could be distracting for some people. I don't really care that much. We get down to like this spectral type of detailing towards the bottom here. Oh, this nice like smoke looking detail. It's just mostly, again, painted in this very dark gray, but it is painted. It's not just, you know, they finished it and molded it and called it a day. Pretty sure they didn't just mold it. Either way, it still looks really good, and it all ends when it goes up in here. This is a harder plastic, actually. So, rotating all of that. I did try to show this off in a 360 view, you know, earlier, as best as I could, because there's a lot of stuff going on here where I've had to freehand it to where it might be a little bit hard to see some things. Show you some of the better details of this one more time. Mostly the face. The hands look really good too. Trying to autofocus as best as I can and as quickly as I can. So I'm really impressed. You know, these figures are usually done really well in the Pop-Up Parade line. With this being a much larger scale, you can tell they definitely had that to their advantage because of just how many details they can get through with how big this is. So no articulation portion. This doesn't have any moving parts. Of course, it's a statue. I'm going to do the sizing of this and the size comparisons with different figures, you know, separately, because I did want to do a decent number of one-on-one size comparisons. So if you look at the top of the head, that's like 21.5 centimeters, but the very top tendril piece makes that 23.5, I believe. That is going to put this around the 8.5 to 9.5 inch range. It's a very large scale figure. Of course, the first size comparison I gotta do here is with the SH Figuarts Yuta Okkotsu. Since that's the only Yuta figure we have so far, a pop-up Parade 1 has already been released, or is going to be released, I believe. And then, I think next year we're going to get the Figma one, which is going to be a little bit shorter than this one. The pop-up Parade, I think, will be a little bit taller, or maybe the same. I actually don't remember. There might also be a Band Presto one. I don't exactly know, but this is the only Yuta I have right now. And you can see, honestly, even though Rika is known to have different sizes throughout the whole movie, I mean, she gets really big at one point. The size that she keeps the most, I think, is really close to what we have with the SH Figuarts one here. So this is a larger figure. It's not supposed to be actually in scale with this one here, but I think it actually really works. This might be the only time Suguru Geto will ever get close enough to Rika Orimoto here. This is actually really good scaling. A lot of you know that this figure here in particular is going to be a little bit taller than Yuta, and I think that this guy here scales really well with the Rika figure. Another size comparison here is going to be the SH Figuarts Jujutsu Kaisen Zero version of Satoru Gojo. Really, I think one of the only times Gojo gets to see Rika in action is when she's super tall at the school. It would be interesting to see a really big, just super humongous, like, I don't know, like 18-inch statue of Rika. That would be like $300 or $400 maybe. I don't think I'd go that far. But as you see here, I think, again, with the standard size of how Rika is supposed to be, it's going to fit in with a character like this pretty well. There's also lots of different scaling going on in the Figma line, so the figure I decided to use as basically this size comparison ambassador, I guess I would say it like that, for Figma is going to be the Attack on Titan Irvin Smith here. I think he might be a tiny bit taller than a standard size Figma. They're a little bit shorter, like 5.5, just under 6 inches sometimes, even shorter than SH Figuarts. I guess this will give you an idea. I think Yuta's going to be a little bit shorter than Irvin here. This will give you an idea of how, you know, Yuta will scale with this Rika here. I think it's going to be really cool when that happens. A couple more size comparisons. Just wanted to give you guys a look at how a 6.5-inch Marvel Legends figure is going to scale with this pop-up Parade Rika here. Still think the scaling is pretty good. I think the Marvel Legends might be a little bit tall, but you could really make this figure's height work with any figure, honestly. Last but not least, I have a standard size Black Series figure. This is going to be the first ever Mando. I think it's only a tiny bit taller than the Yuta SH Figuarts figure, but you can see how a Black Series figure would scale with this. Overall, I am more than satisfied with this particular piece here. I think that Good Smile Company did an incredible job with this. If no other company ever gets around to making an articulated Rika figure, I am more than happy with this being my go-to Rika, because with how she's supposed to normally be scaled with Yuta, I think this one is going to work the best with your SH Figuarts one, and maybe even the Figma one, and it's supposed to fit in scale with the Yuta pop-up Parade figure as well. So keep that in mind. The paintwork, the sculpting, top notch on this thing. When it comes to like the overall paint with the light and dark grays, all that looks fine. I don't notice any kind of blemishes or anything wrong with the plastic. This is a really nice quality piece when it comes to plastic, of course. Some of the smaller details like the tongue and the teeth and the gums and all that, that's also really cool. The construction of the base is very sturdy. Popping it into the base is very nice. There's nothing I have to worry about this being loose. I've had to freehand this, drag it around my room a little bit, and it still stays in the stand. Maybe eventually pegs will come undone, but who knows. The thing is that if you're getting us on Japanese websites like AmiAmi and Big Bad Toy Store, they do charge shipping, I believe, by the weight. This is about 2.3 pounds, if my smaller scale was correct. So I shipped this with a couple other SH Figure Arts figures that made a shipping around $80 for that. So I would recommend maybe waiting a little bit until the US sites get it. And if you have sites like Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store where they have cheaper shipping options, even like Good Smile's website, even though the shipping there can be a little abysmal, you can maybe make something work over there. I wouldn't pay super duper a lot for this. I mean, maybe like at most $90 overall, including the shipping, even $100 including the shipping. I think I may have ended up the share for the shipping was just a little too much. I wanted to say that, but $70 to $80 for this is, I think, a steal. I love this thing so much. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about this statue, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.